If you find yourself constantly being taken advantage of but can't seem to break free from this cycle, then this video is precisely what you need. Many of us feel obligated to prioritize others over ourselves, and this self-imposed obligation leads us into a frustrating cycle where our kindness becomes a target for exploitation. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you want to regain control, build self-confidence, and put an end to being taken advantage of, all you need to do is pay close attention and watch this video all the way through. This video will empower you to identify manipulative behavior, establish healthy boundaries, and grant yourself the freedom to prioritize your own needs. Which means you'll finally be able to stop sacrificing your own well-being to please others. Let's begin. 4 ways to know you are being taken advantage of. Now, before we dive into strategies to stop being taken advantage of, it's crucial to understand and identify manipulation and exploitation. That's why we have listed 4 absolute signs that you are being taken advantage of. Number 1. Guilt tripping. When you feel someone rushing you into making a decision and coming up with sentences that pressurize you into doing them a favor, just know that they are taking advantage of you. Guilt tripping doesn't always go like, "But you're my friend, you're supposed to do that for me." It also sounds like, "I just know you can do it better for me," or "I'm only asking because I'm unable to do it myself." Someone who actually cares for you the way they do for themselves will never put you in a situation that they don't want to end up in. A friend asking for help doesn't sound like pressurizing, and they don't make you feel like a bad person if you don't choose to favor them. Most importantly, when you help a sincere friend, you can see gratitude in their tone and body language. This gratitude indicates that they had the option of you saying no in mind. On the contrary, someone taking advantage of you will be kind to you only until the favor is done. Later, gratitude is barely there. Number 2. Inconvenient request. Would you ever make a request to someone that might put them in trouble or cause them to invest a lot of physical or mental energy? No, right? Then no one else should do it either, because that idea even sounds unethical. People who take advantage of others often test boundaries to see how far they can push without facing resistance. Inconvenient requests might be a way for them to gauge your willingness to comply, and that could be the start of it all. Continuously making inconvenient requests shows a lack of consideration for your time and commitments. It could indicate that the other person prioritizes their needs over your boundaries, clearly indicating their intention of taking advantage. So, if you ever find someone making requests that trouble you or put you in a difficult spot, it's a red flag. Number 3. Interest in your personal life. When people want to take advantage of you, they try to control things to benefit themselves. One way they do this is by not showing any interest in your personal life. They keep their distance to stay in control and hide their real intentions. If they don't know much about your personal life, they can use it as an excuse when problems come up. For example, they might say, "I didn't know it was so hard for you." When someone doesn't care about your personal life, it might mean they're not emotionally connected to you. This could be because they're only thinking about themselves or their own needs, and they're not really interested in having a balanced and caring relationship. So, if you notice someone isn't interested in your personal problems but suddenly shows up when they need something from you, it's a clear sign that they are taking advantage of you. Number 4. Lastly, you feel drained. Ever been around someone who leaves you feeling emotionally or mentally drained? It's important to recognize that this feeling can be a telling sign of someone taking advantage of you. Your subconscious brain can detect hidden behavior and make your body and mind act accordingly. When you are with someone who always needs emotional, financial, or physical support without providing the same for you, your brain detects it as a tiring task. This happens because you are always giving and not receiving, and that's not how relationships are supposed to be. So, instead of thinking of it as helping after frequent giving and not receiving at all, your brain sees it as a task to get over with. So, now that you are aware of the ways someone can take advantage of you, it's time to solve the problem. 5 things to do when someone takes advantage of you. Here is the step-by-step process that you need to follow to stop others from taking advantage of you. Let's start. Step 1. Go through your situation rationally. Take a moment to evaluate your situation from an objective standpoint, as if you were an impartial observer. How much are you helping this person? Are they asking for real help, or are they making you do things for them? Is what they want from you something that's fair to ask? Are they acting the way they should in your relationship? Ask these questions to figure out if their requests make sense. Then, think about your own values and what you should do for this person. If you're genuinely okay with helping, that's great, but if not, it's time for the next step. Step 2. State your thoughts clearly. We get it, you're a kind and compassionate person, and that's why we're not suggesting you cut people off or be rude to them. A good way to start is by politely letting the person know that you can't help them with their request right now. Be clear and nice when you say this. You can also explain why you find their request tiring or difficult. Once you've communicated your feelings, pay attention to how they react. If they understand your situation and are willing to work with you, it's a good sign. This means you can continue to talk about these kinds of situations in the future, and it can even improve your relationship with them. But if they try to pressure you with emotional manipulation or guilt tripping, it's time to move on to step 3. Step 3. Put an end to emotional hazards. By now, you already know the difference between asking for help and having someone manipulate you into doing their tasks for them. So now we're going to let them know that this behavior can no longer work for them. Politely explain that you have the right to say no without having to give a reason. Tell them it's perfectly fine for them to ask for favors, but it's also okay for you to decide if you want to help or not. Let them know that your choice to decline doesn't make you a bad person. However, asking for a favor and not letting you freely make your decision does make them inconsiderate. Step 4. Stay strong and don't let them have power over you. It's crucial to keep in mind that those who take advantage of others often try to make themselves look good in the situation. This is when you need to stand your ground. If they're not willing to understand what you're saying, it's okay to respectfully end the conversation. If they say hurtful things, remember that it's not because they genuinely mean it, but rather because they're feeling insecure. Instead of letting their words affect you, focus on building your own confidence and self-worth. Take some time to evaluate the situation and validate your own thoughts by thinking it through. Don't let their words be the final say in how you feel about yourself. Step 5. Learn to set boundaries. Here comes the climax. Create boundaries for yourself. Boundaries that seem fair and valid to you and align with your values. Creating these boundaries is one thing, but the real challenge lies in sticking to them, and that's perfectly normal. It's essential to approach this process with kindness and understanding toward yourself. You don't have to rush this. Take your time, and when necessary, calmly and respectfully communicate to others what you are no longer willing to accept or accommodate. Remember, this journey you're on is about well-being and finding inner peace. So, it's entirely okay to prioritize yourself in this process. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.